At this point, I just assume DC is going to botch and bungle everything they put their hands on. I don't know if it's Marvel or DC or who's at fault with this situation right now, but the internet is abuzz, and we're going to go over it in detail, let you know what's going on exactly. The best comic news I think nobody else on YouTube really covers, so thank you for being right here. I appreciate you guys. My name is John Delarose. I am a #1 best-selling and an award-winning author, and I'm a comic creator, of course, and we have a Indiegogo on right now, A High School Girl in the Crusades. It is a beautiful isekai manga-style story, which is told by my great artist friend, The Quaff, with my writing, of course. And we are almost at 12K on this. You can be the person to pop us over the top right now, and I would appreciate if you did so. Support the channel, support our great comic content by independent creators who don't hate you, unlike these companies who seem to mess around with everything. All right. Thanks so much, everybody who's supported so far. Obviously, this campaign's a huge success, and we really appreciate you for being there. Whew. All right, JLA Avengers is actually the topic of today's video. Now, I didn't expect to be talking about JLA Avengers in 2022. This is a crossover event from Marvel and DC from decades ago. It's decades ago, isn't it? Yeah, it actually was. And this was drawn by George Perez, written by Kurt Busiek, and they actually did a run on Avengers together, the two of them. And this crossover was written and produced, and actually was a beautiful story. They came out with a hardcover, absolute-sized edition of this, which I have, which has skyrocketed in price. You can't get it for like less than $500 at this point for a book that retailed for like $50 back in the day. But it has been long out of print, and all of the Marvel and DC crossovers have been long out of print. Very difficult to find all the way around. Even the trade paperbacks, the junky ones they used to make, are just way up in price. The single issues of this are way up in price. It's utterly ridiculous just how both companies refuse to work with one another at the end of the day in order to get this material out there to readers who really want it. Now, I don't know who's at fault. Like I said, I don't know if it's Marvel. I don't know if it's DC. I do know that DC's collected editions department has just been a complete train wreck over the last couple of years, just not producing what fans want. There was supposed to be a Superman by John Byrne omnibus that was supposed to come out last year. They downgraded that and just pushed it into normal-sized hardcovers, shortened all the content. Really bizarre moves on their part that just like really upset collectors, really upset readers. And these people just really don't have a real bellwether for their fans and what they want. And this seems to be the case all the time. Now, the story here is George Perez recently announced that he is dying of cancer. And George Perez, of course, is one of the most storied artists in comic book history. He's a great guy. He's always wonderful to the fans. He really is just a class act all around. He's a great storyteller, both with his art and with his writing. Has done wonderful work, New Teen Titans, Wonder Woman, A Crisis on Infinite Earths, and of course this JLA Avengers crossover, which is hailed as one of the best crossovers of all time. Now, because of his death, the Hero Initiative, which is a group that typically pays for, artists' medical bills and tries to help them out with things like that. It's a charity organization because these companies really screw their artists at the end of the day. They do not give them healthcare benefits. They don't bring them on as employees. They treat them as freelancers. They pay them crap wages. The comic industry has really just been a train wreck on that level, not paying their talent for a long time, which is why there's a whole movement of indie creators just doing things like I am to do things differently. It's one of the reasons why. There's a lot of reasons why. But this is just another situation where it's getting bungled by the big companies who just can't help a guy out when he's freaking dying. All right, this is what's going on now. So everybody's been calling for this for months. They were like, hey, why don't you do a reprint of JLA Avengers to honor George Perez as he's, about to die of cancer? And the fans really wanted it. The fans have been calling for it for months. I mean, it's been YouTube, Twitter. I've seen it everywhere asking for a reprint of this. And the Hero Initiative, having a nice charitable work, I believe the money's slated to be going to his family or whatnot to help out with these costs that are happening, made this happen. They went through and actually worked with Marvel and DC to get this going. Now, where Marvel and DC bungled it and where everybody saw this coming crazy the other day is you can see right here, this is the main problem. Only 7,000 copies will be printed and available. oof, this is a train wreck right here, because 7,000 copies when, one of the biggest comic artists of the last 4 decades is getting attention, right before his death, is not enough to satiate demand. They really need like 10 times that. And that's the thing with these companies. They just like, one, they don't want to respect the older work so much. They kind of want to memory hole it because of their current year stuff that they're trying to push. But on the other hand, like, they just don't listen to the fans. And I don't know what's going on in back rooms with this. Apparently, like, from my understanding, the lawyers who got involved with each corporation said 7,000 was the limit. And that's so arbitrary. It just makes absolutely no sense on any level. And so what's going to happen with this is going to be a scramble to the comic shop, scramble to pre-order. Comic shops are going to have to allocate it to different people who are going to be trying to buy it. They're not going to be able to get it. And there's going to be a huge cluster fudge. Cluster fudge? I'm trying not to swear much these days. When it actually gets to comic shops, it's going to be a big train wreck, and everybody knows it already. What's going to happen immediately is there's going to be scalpers on eBay who are just going to be pushing up the prices of this. And this is a thing that's supposed to be a charity for a guy's death. It's going to make it into a circus, which is unbecoming of what's going on here, and unbecoming of paying respects to Mr. George Perez. So, while it's great, there's like some being reprinted, and, I'm glad that some fans took some initiative and actually pushed this to happen. The corporations really just need to get off their asses and just stop being idiots about things like this. This is a huge problem across the industry. They just don't know what they're doing. They seem to just want to cut off their nose to spite their face. And I'm just getting sick of it on every level. So this is me calling them out. Increase this volume. 7,000 is ridiculous. You shouldn't be doing that. And just, pay a little more respects to George Perez. He's a guy who took care of both Marvel and DC for a lot of decades. And you really are built on the backs of his labor. So just do right by him. That's what I got to say. All right, let me know what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.